one of the largest local marketers here.
41 out of 50 states I've knocked on a door and sold something.
We can build all of these little businesses around it.
But are you building Andrew the Homebuyer to sell it? Welcome to the Invest This Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Bauer. I've been a real estate investor here in Phoenix for over 12 years, doing everything from wholesaling to fix and flips and apartment syndications. But the reason I started this podcast is because I believe that investing is about more than the money. Whether that's how to get closer to your family, to become a better leader, or to be more intentional with your health, I'm always trying to improve. My goal for this episode is that you get one thing that you can immediately invest in your life or business to get at least 1% better. So happy that you're here. Now let's get into it. All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Invest This Podcast. Today, I'm excited. We're going to have a good conversation. I have Andrew the Homebuyer himself. Woo! And the brains behind the deal, Kyle Wyloge, with us today. We're going to talk about real estate. We're going to talk about family. We're going to talk about all the good stuff in between. So,
muscles.
We're going to talk about muscles. There we go.
How do you water that?
Oh, that's it's on a drip system.
Got it.
It's on a drip system.
And
so it's
mow
actually
it?
behind you. Well, I don't mow it, but I have somebody come in here. Yeah, have it
Makes
mowed.
sense.
Welcome, guys. So I guess let's just start it off with, who are you? Where do you come from? What do you do? For all the people that don't know.
I'm Andrew the Homebuyer. Come from my parents. I came from the mean streets of door knocking, all over the, Gulf of Mexico, the East Coast, West Coast, and then I met Kyle.
Okay.
I'll never forget us eating at Pita Jungle. And
I had Pita Jungle last night.
He shed some of his knowledge and shared it with me, and I think he realized maybe I had some skills that could go out into the market and be this huge brand that we are now. He saw that in me, so I appreciate him for seeing that in me, But, I'm just a guy that grew up in Chandler, kind of a hometown kid.
How many states have you door knocked and sold something in?
41 out of 50 states I've knocked on a door and sold something. So I've met a lot of different people. So it's a fun thing to be relatable when you say, oh, I'm in Iowa or I'm in New Mexico, Delaware.
That seems like a lot of states.
It's a lot of states.
I feel like I'm well traveled and I haven't been to 41 states.
Yeah, I've been to more than 41 states too.
You need to get to Delaware.
I need to get to Delaware. That seems like
really quick.
I mean, it's wild, but it was a fun time. It taught me some skills to adapt and know who I'm talking to, what kind of, religion, what kind of political views they had, and then kind of adjust and kind of be a chameleon to just make them, like me in a way. So.
Okay. All right. What did you sell?
I did alarm systems for 3 years, so I was in, some mean streets where people needed alarm systems, where I'd be going around door to door, and they'd be like, hey, what are you doing, man? What are you selling? And like, oh, I'm just selling alarm systems, mister. And then they would respond, oh, no, hell no. Can you teach us how to deactivate those alarms? We don't need alarm systems in our neighborhood. And then 6 years was Dish and DirectTV, so... it was kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, that door-to-door knocking is a powerful skill.
It was fun, dude. And I'm the 9th kid of 10, so, I was born to talk to people and, try to get my way and convince my parents into buying me the shit,
I mean, 9 of 10 people, you definitely have to be able to convince people, convince your parents, that's for sure.
Correct.
So that's where you started off. What about you? Where'd you start?
Grew up here, started real estate 2006, traditional buyer-seller business. 2008-09 market crashed. I got into buying at trustee sales at the did a bid service and bought at the auctions. And then 2011, 12, 13 kind of got out of real estate a little bit, still did some. And then 14, 15, 16 started doing, actually 13, 14 doing multifamily redevelopment. And then met him in
August. This is going on 9 years.
August of 2015. Yeah. And met him because we were doing a traditional team and just, again, buyer-seller stuff. And we wanted to go door knock for real estate because nobody was doing it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to do it. And the other guy that was working with us, he didn't want to do it. And he goes, one of my buddies, he's been door knocking all over the U.S. and he just had a kid, so I think he doesn't want to go back out on the road. And I was like, all right, let's go meet.
It was perfect timing, dude.
And we met at Pita Jungle, and he was wearing
very classy
socks with Jordan slides
gym shorts
that he came up on. And then the rest is history. He as they say, we sat down, and I think we were like, hey, let's see if this thing works. And we were like, all right, well, what will be successful? Like, what if we, if we buy how many houses will it be successful? And I was like, I don't know. If we door knock and buy like a house a month, I think that'll be a good thing.
Should be crushing. So, I mean, that was 9 years ago.
Now we double that.
Mm-hmm.
Now you double that.
Yeah,
two
double
houses a month.
houses
Two,
a month.
wow. 100% increase. That's huge.
Huge.
But, so like 9 years, it's a long time. And, I mean, for all the listeners out there, if you live in and around Phoenix and you have a TV, you've been to a gym, really you've driven on any of the roads, you've probably seen their billboards, you've seen their commercials. How do you go from one house a month to now you're everywhere? Now you're omnipresent. Give me like the 2-minute rundown of how that looks.
I mean, I'll start it. I mean, honestly, it was a lot of hard work. I mean, it's hot in Arizona. It's not fun going to do stuff that people don't want to do, knocking on doors, cold calling, and being that pest. We were doing that for 4 years, and we were really competitive. I mean, we were getting, 6-10 deals a month by doing the guerrilla marketing sort of thing. And, I mean, kudos to Kyle. He's just smart, being able to adapt with the system, finding what worked for us. Why are we doing the stuff that doesn't work for us? And then just kind of steering us on the right path to be like, okay, well, now we're starting to make so many people mad by leaving flyers on doors, texting them and calling them all the time that like we looked at each other as like, why are we even doing this? And then it was kind of like, well, maybe we should try to go on TV, And so it was like, well, let's both go on TV and start a commercial and see if we can compete with the big dogs. And I mean, it was perfect timing with COVID. Everybody was home.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was trial and error. We had a lot of success. We had a lot of failures, but we, I don't know, stuck together.
And built it up this way. I mean, did it all start with just TV? I mean, is that really when it started during COVID? So it was 2020?
So we actually started in late 19. Like you said, we were doing all outbound prospecting. It sucked. It was a grind. It was hot, high turnover. I mean, in 4 years, we had like 78 guys that came and worked with us anywhere from 2 hours to eight years, right?
Honestly.
Jared's been there 8 years?
Yep.
Yeah. And so in late 19, we were like, this sucks. Everybody's angry. Now there's so many people sending mail. Tons of people doing texts, and even some people started door knocking.
Yep.
And so we were like, let's go do TV. And so we were going to do this thing where we were actually going to copy Lerner and Rowe. So it was going to be Kyle and Andrew. And I was going to be like, hi, I'm Kyle. And he's Andrew. We want to buy your house. Dude, 2 guys on the screen. And so we met with a media buyer, met with a production company, and had a whole script put together. And we had some time on a Monday to go book it, or to go record it. And Sunday, I think, I called the media guy and I was like, hey, I don't want to be in the commercial. Let's just do Andrew the Homebuyer. And if it doesn't work, we'll run it for 90 days and then we'll go back and do it together. And so I called him and I was like, hey, it's just going to be you tomorrow. Good luck.
Hey, guess what? You're showing up solo.
Yep. I showed up, but and we started off doing TV, really small schedule. And we had calls the first morning. It was crazy. Just grew from there. And now we're on in Arizona, Nevada. We're one of the largest local marketers here. We're on every local station. We're on like 20-something cable stations.
It's wild.
It is wild.
We're in all the major radio stations now. We have 25 billboards.
It's fun to tell people at one time I had rollerblades on my feet in Maryvale, trying to rollerblade through the streets of Maryvale, dropping flyers. And now we're here. So it's
we had four Super Bowl commercials.
Yeah.
What did Lil Wayne say? Started from the bottom.
Yeah.
Or no, that wasn't Lil Wayne, was it?
Drake.
One of those rappers.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite the growth. What does the team look like now to handle all the leads? To handle we have
10? Maybe 8 to 10 people?
Yeah, we've got 3,
8 to 10, depending on the day.
4, 5,
and who goes on vacation? There's always
8,
somebody.
9,
Jake's going
10,
somewhere.
11.
Tyler's going somewhere.
Ben's never at the office.
Ben's never at the office.
I think there's 11, including you and me.
Give me a breakdown of what the day looks like. So you get into the office. Who does what?
He usually wakes up 8:39. He's at the office by 10:30 most days.
Okay.
He's bullshitting. I've been on a little fitness kick. He spent probably 7 years telling me, hey, dude, stop eating so bad. Go to the gym. Why are you not doing this? Because I like sports, but I would just play basketball. I didn't want to do anything else but play basketball. And then RIP, my dad passed away because he was kind of unhealthy and whatnot. So I was like, oh, shit, I'm going to start caring for my health a little bit. So now I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning, go to the gym, do that whole thing and then get the kids ready, come in. I'm at the office about 8:30. Kyle's already been at the office. He gives us like a notes of all of our given appointments each day. So we have an idea of like, okay, what exactly can we buy these 8 appointments that we're going on. So he gives me good comps, and then I just get the guys loaded who goes on what appointment. And I love meeting people. It's fun to be in my car. I mean, my car drives itself. I sit and listen to good music, podcasts, listen to the Invest This podcast whenever I get a chance, But yeah, I'm driving around on appointments most days. And I think that's where my skills are best used.
Yeah.
And then all the other guys are fielding the calls, filtering everything out, and then Kyle will listen to people talk on the phone and be like, okay, well, why is he asking this question? This is a very good lead-up question. Means that, he got a good chance for a big fish, if you will. And, hey, Andrew, forget this next appointment. Go on this appointment. It's important. And it's like, we kind of fill our day out by that.
Okay.
We go to cold plunge at 3 o'clock, too. So that's usually our office.
You still doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every day.
Still going to
Optimize.
Yeah, Optimize.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it all started. I mean, that's kind of a shift. Actually, we'll come back to that because I want to talk about the whole health kick. I'm huge in the cold plunge. That's something I live by every day. Anyways, okay, so you're basically doing you're like going in to look at all the deals for the day and then comping them, figuring out what your buy prices are, and then you guys are talking about it. And then from there, you're basically pointing people to different directions to go lock up those deals, or are you going on all the appointments?
I like to go on most of them, but we have a new thing, we use Calendly, and it kind of tells us who goes on what appointment, but we have Jake, TJ, they'll go on some appointments.
Everybody else is just fielding the phone? Just getting, basically teeing up the leads or teeing up the people?
Yeah, and, I mean, shout out to our guys. Everybody is a utility player. Like, they can go on, they can do it all.
Yeah,
so,
right.
It's just, but ideally, it just helps so much for me to walk into the appointment and then they make a little joke, oh, you're really the guy on TV. Oh, I'm meeting a celebrity. Can I get your autograph, sort of thing? And I'm like, oh yeah, play your cards right. I'm going to get your autograph too. And then, so it's like that always just diffuses the situation.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, it just kind of depends on the day and what we're doing.
Okay. I like that. I mean, ultimately, delegating a certain task to different people is how you make an efficient organization, right? Now, it didn't happen like that overnight, though. Give me some growing pains. How did that? I mean, I don't think it happened overnight, right? You didn't just land in having this perfect system that works great. What were some of the struggles?
I mean, you would think running, because a lot of guys do outbound prospecting in our business, right?
Yeah,
you would think that running inbound would just be like easy.
Yeah.
Like you just flip a switch and it's just cake. But it's not. Like it's because there's a lot of guys that do it, so there's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
So for me, I spend a lot of times underwriting all the appointments, and then the rest of what I do is really like looking at the business. Like, okay, what's our call answer rate? What's our speed to lead on calling online leads? How many appointments are we setting this month versus how many contracts are we getting? So I'm constantly looking at stuff like that.
You're just looking at the high-level KPIs to like steer the business in the right way, and then you're executing on the business plan to keep things flowing. So ultimately, it's like visionary integrator. Would you agree to that?
Yeah.
Right?
And so my thing is like, I need to get him in as many doors as possible.
Right.
And how are we going to do that? And so when we very first started off, our call answer rate was like 68%. And so I was maybe even lower than that. And I was super, super focused on that. And so it was like, okay, well, how do we get more appointments? Answer more calls. And then slowly our call answer rate got to like 92%. And then from there, it was like, okay, we're getting all these calls. Why aren't we going on more appointments? And so been on a big kick for more appointments. So I'm really focusing on like, what are we doing good? What are we not doing good? I try not to focus on what we do good though. I'm typically focusing on like areas,
how do you get
areas
better?
Of improvement. Yeah.
I mean, this is a contact sport, right? I mean, this is the way that you thrive in this investment business is by contacting sellers and having meaningful conversations and ultimately solving a problem, right? That's how you win. And so figuring out how to make that conversion or contact ratio so much better is kind of how you are going to get better every time, right?
Yeah, and he has a pretty predictable conversion rate, and so my thing is just like, you guys get him on more appointments.
Yeah. How many appointments can you do in a day? Or do you typically do in a day?
Typically 3 to 5.
Yeah. Dude, 5 is a lot. 3 is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
Especially if you're driving all over town, depending on what time of day. If you're basically rush hour in the morning and then from like 3 till 6 in the afternoon, you're kind of...
I live in Queen Creek. Sometimes I'll start with Queen Creek, go to Chandler, go to East Mesa, Sun City, Buckeye, Scottsdale, back, and then, something. But
how many miles do you put on the vehicle in a year? Like what?
I mean, I'm at 92,000 in my Tesla, and we got it in October of 2022.
No,
2021. We were at the office already.
So 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And that's
like
90,000, 35,000 miles a year.
35,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Never been out of the state. It's only driving.
Yeah, it's never
around.
left the state.
Just all in Maricopa County.
So about 3,000 miles a month.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. So
my shoulders really hate me for doing it. I do a lot of this. But,
you go to the chiropractor?
Yeah, chiropractor. I get massages quite a bit. So.
Wait, does your car massage you? Is that where you're going?
No, I wish that would be.
That's not a
cool.
feature you can get in the Tesla?
No. My girls, Lisa and Tina at Pampered Massage. If anybody ever wants a massage on Alma School in Green Creek, they are the best massage cupping place in Arizona, for real.
I love that. Okay.
All right.
So, why are you doing it? What's the goal? What does Andrew the Homebuyer, what does this operation do? What does it do for you?
What it does for me, it gives me a purpose. I mean, my kids are a big purpose, but this has helped me be the best kind of parent that I can be, and it gives me some tools to have some freedom to where if all I'm doing is going on appointments and I can struggle for 6-7 hours a day, and then the rest of my time can be with my family, that's huge. And so I've always told myself I want to do, he doesn't like to hear this probably, but I want to do the least amount of work and make the most money possible.
Oh, I had no idea that was his goal. Crazy. I'm so shocked.
It's weird how that works.
And meeting him, I mean, I was doing door-to-door sales to try to make $150 type of commission. It's like, when I get it, I'd be so thrilled. So it's like, I don't know, I'm competitive, and it's a way that I can compete with other people or compete with myself. It's kind of like golf, like, oh, shoot, I could have been better at this appointment. Why was I sleepy? Why did, whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's like, you always want to get better, and I mean, it's kind of fun building the brand. I mean, we go a lot of places, and people know who I am, and that sounds dumb. I don't want to be that guy, but it is really fun.
You are that guy.
I drive by a billboard today, and I'm driving in my car, and I'm wondering what people around me are saying. Oh, that guy's right there. I wonder if that's really him.
Yep, that's definitely what they're saying for sure.
Yeah, so it's I don't know. It's fun. It's sky's the limit. I think we can do a lot. I mean,
we are the funnel, right? So as far as seeing investment real estate in Arizona, I would say that there's probably nobody that sees more opportunities than we do.
More deal flow.
Yeah. And so as far as accumulating real estate and building wealth, we see so many opportunities. And unfortunately right now debt sucks.
Yeah.
So we can't pencil a lot of it, but even when debt gets better, I mean, when interest rates were low, we were picking up properties for 60 cents on the dollar and getting great financing.
Right.
So, I mean, we are the funnel. Right. So a big thing for us right now is we're kind of building out a registered fund right now to pick up some real estate.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, ultimately, that's what I'm saying. What is the purpose of it? So, I'm in this business. The purpose is to be the funnel, to find the great opportunities to then build wealth with, right?
Yep.
But are you building Andrew the Homebuyer to sell it? Is it going to be an exit at some point? Is that kind of the goal? Because some people build businesses for different reasons. Some people, their only goal is to build it to a certain level where they have a multiple and they can sell it, right?
Yeah, I think we want to keep it as a cash flow business as far as Andrew the Homebuyer goes.
Yeah.
But then we can build all of these little businesses around it. Like I said, if we can build an equity fund,
sure,
and go out and buy a bunch of real estate and get it leased up, then we can go sell that to a larger buy and hold fund, right?
Yeah.
So that's some stuff we're looking at, and that'd be kind of like a sellable business.
Yeah. Yep.
But as far as selling the brand, I don't think so. I mean, I'd sell anything for the right price.
Right. I mean, if it came along, then I
the problem is, it'd be really cool to sell it, but that's a single transaction and then we're done, right?
Right.
As to where right now, again, we are the funnel.
Right.
We're like a lot of times we're the first stop for people when they want to sell their house.
Right.
And so giving that up would be almost detrimental. Yeah.
So, and like we've kind of touched on it already as well, but as far as like being the funnel, talking about outbound marketing compared to inbound marketing, I fully agree with you that inbound marketing is the better option, right? Because you're not. All this, a friend of mine, and back in the Midwest, they are in a lawsuit right now that's like a TCPA violation for cold calling, and it's just been an ugly beast. They're like several $1 million into this lawsuit right now, and it's still going, right? Because as they subpoena your call volume or your call log, they can uncover other times that you violated it and charge you for it. That's what you're only going to get that if you're outbound calling or if you're outbound texting, right? On inbound leads, sellers are reaching out to you. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, are you still doing any outbound stuff?
We've got 2 door knockers, I think.
Yep.
Do we still have them?
Is it illegal to knock on somebody's door yet?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay. That's an honest question.
If it is,
because-
the LDS church is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Right.
I don't think it's illegal.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's going to happen a lot. And most of the time, anybody that has like the no soliciting signs up there at their house,
That just
usually
means they're an easy
they're
sell.
the biggest suckers they've been at before. So you look for like an alarm sign or something that somebody door to door sold. Yeah, there's a reason why they don't want anybody else.
Yeah. All right. I like that. What about ancillary businesses? So you have Andrew the Homebuyer, which is the investment business. You're buying, flipping, and wholesaling and keeping some when they make sense and et cetera. What about other business? What about mortgage? What about title? What about?
I don't have any interest in getting the mortgage business. I don't really have any interest in getting the title business. I've been presented with opportunities to do title companies in the past. I don't know. Not
To do
interest.
like within a JV partnership or
Yeah.
something like that, right?
Yeah.
What about here's another. What about hard money?
Yeah, we've lent before. We haven't set up as a bank, but I think it's something that we probably would do.
Yeah.
Um,
Just as like people, if they're buying deals from you,
right.
right, and they're getting financing, and you can provide that financing, you're kind of hitting it twice,
Yeah.
right? And that's exactly what you're doing.
For sure.
Why would you not do that?
Yeah.
Are you doing it now at all?
Not right now.
I mean, lending depends on your capacity, right? So I've lent on a few things, but then I run out of money for my own deals. So then
Right.
it's like, okay, well, then I got to go borrow money from somebody else when
And
I
then
have
it's
my own
like
money.
just a waste.
Yeah,
Right?
and it's like if I'm doing my own deals, why don't I just fund my own deals?
We'll do that more often.
Yeah.
So we won't borrow on as many deals that we buy.
So, okay, you have this cash flowing business. You're all over the place. People know who you are. Like, what does it do for your family? Why, like, talk to me about your family. What, like, how does it impact, your life, or does it take away from all your time? You'd mentioned earlier in the show here that, you look forward to spending more time with your kids. But, like, how much do you really spend with them? Are you consumed by this every day, or what does your schedule like that look like?
I'm pretty consumed by it. I know he is. I mean, it's something that we think about all the time. I mean, I'd be lying to you if I didn't struggle, go home and not be on my phone because I'm getting a couple of calls or we got to follow up with this. And then my wife gets mad saying, oh, you're just on your phone. And I'm like, she gets it, but like, I do wish I could be better, but that's also, we're in our prime. It sucks that like we're in our prime of our, I guess our abilities, but it also sucks because my kids are in that prime,
How old are your
age where
kids?
they need me. 8, 6, and 4.
8,
So
6,
I
and
got
4.
3.
Yeah, but on the same note, like we do think about it all the time, but it's also a 9 to 5 would be way worse.
Way worse.
Because
Oh,
like
Way worse.
we can leave town on a Thursday.
No question.
Kids school stuff in the morning, kids school stuff in the afternoon. I mean, it's summer right now, but I know both of us during the school year we drop the kids off at school. A lot of times we pick them up from school.
So you just have a lot of flexibility.
Yeah.
This
Huge.
is,
So, I mean,
provide you a ton of flexibility.
yeah.
I mean, with that, what do you think about like the work from home movement that's happening right now, and people are able to, if you have access to a computer and or a phone or both, and you run a job or have a position that's all that really it requires, do you think that people are more capable to get more done when they're at home and have a flexible schedule, or do you want people to be on a like rigid, hey, be in the office from 9 till 5?
It would be really cool to be able to be one of those people and be in office that could work from home, but it's just not the case. Like I know us and our guys, we have to be in the office. Because then, we all have different set of skills or different thoughts on things, and so like we can just bounce ideas off of each other and work with each other on things. So it helps so much better and communicate, and then we kind of hold each other accountable. But I'd rather work from the office. I mean, we do get enough time with the family, no doubt, but it also helps when you go to optimize and you're done with the day and you go in and you're like,
did you say you're done at 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like I think we go really hard from like 9 to 2.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's I'm sure you're familiar, like your genius zone, right? Like a period of time when like you're really, really on. And that's like, sounds like for you guys, it's 9 till 2 or 9 till 3, right? I don't believe that you can run all day long and be 100% the entire time at all. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially we go really hard and really intentional for that brief period of time.
So you're doing 3 to 5 appointments within a 5 hour period?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
I'm out.
He'll have like a 9, a 10:30, an 11:30, and a 1, right? Mm-hmm. And then he's out.
And then call it a day.
Yep.
And I like that. What about here's a fun conversation we probably could have. What do you think about the gurus out there? What do you think about all those gurus on social media and people that are, talking about how to become a millionaire in real estate within 72 hours?
2 weeks. It's funny to me, honestly. It's more entertaining just because I think we know a lot of the guys, like what they actually do in business versus what they say they do.
100%.
And it's so interesting, like this movement to just kind of bullshit what they do. It's weird. I don't get it.
Because
it serves no purpose. Yeah, and you're lying to people, and it becomes very quickly evident when they lie about their business, and then somebody goes and joins their team, and 3 weeks later they're like, I've made no money here. You're not making any money. You're going on Instagram lying about what you're actually doing. It's weird. It's weird to me. And at some point in time, it seems like everybody kind of gets found out. But it doesn't serve a purpose other than just insecurity, and they're just lying about, they want to make themselves feel better. Or I don't know.
I mean, I guess lying to make people believe in them, and then ultimately pay or give them some money, and that's how they make which is
awful.
Yeah, I mean, it's like stealing money from people.
Yeah,
right.
It's crazy. There's so many people out there that do it.
So many.
We weren't big on it. We just barely started putting anything on social media as Andrew the Homebuyer, Kyle, me, just because we had that mentality of either loose lips sink ships, and then it's like kind of like this is our fishing hole. Why are we going to tell everybody else what we're doing?
Yeah.
Now we got a big enough net or boat out there, so we're willing to talk a little bit more. But we were always close to the chest with everything, and because nobody cares. Honestly, nobody cares if we do a lot of deals or not. But
nobody cares.
If they can find some information or knowledge from what we tell them now, that's helpful.
I mean, that's really the whole reason of this podcast, right? I want people to listen to this where they can take one thing away from it and go implement it in their life, right? They don't care if you do 100 deals a year, 500 deals a year. If you make $50,000 a year or 10 million, maybe they might care, but ultimately, like, I just want them to be able to take something away from the podcast for the same reason. It's like, I just want to try to help people that way.
Yeah, be relatable.
Be relatable.
Go through it. I mean, it's nice to say that, hey, I was door to door. I did all of this stuff because it's like, yeah, I'm not a real estate person by trade. I'm still not, you know. And so like that's why when Kyle mentions, oh, do you know this guy or do you know this guy? Oh, he worked for this. Was his old bidding service. I'm like, that's awesome, dude. I'm not a guru. He might be a guru. You might be a guru.
I'm definitely not. That's not. I just for the same thing. I see a lot of false information out there for people, and it's unfortunate because people give into it. Right? They think it's a get rich quick. Josh,
it's definitely not a get rich quick. No matter what you hear, it is not a get rich quick. It's not going to happen.
Josh, another guest that we had on the show, he was talking about it's not a get rich quick, but it's a get rich for sure. Yeah. One of the things that kind of the things that we talked about in that podcast is commitment. And if you commit to real estate and learning the trade and learning how all the moving pieces work, ultimately, it's not a get rich quick, but it's a get rich for sure.
Yeah.
right?
If you continue to have the mentality, I mean, Kyle's been really good about putting the money back into the business, like saving, and that's what you're doing. So it's like, yeah, I'm happy with this one deal, but like, how do we make this one deal turn into 6 more deals? Can we take nothing on the deal? And it's just, I don't know, it works.
Are you able to, so like from a trending real estate, what's going on in the marketplace? We kind of touched on it before the show, but like, what do you think's going on in the world right now? Where do you see things going in the next 24 months?
24 months, I don't know. I'd say see what happens in the election and how crazy people get in D.C. and what that looks like. Short term, we're seeing lead flow is down a little bit.
Yep.
I've heard that from everybody in the industry. Retail market, MLS sales are down and slowing. The last month has been slow going into our slow period, so it's not a great sign. The amount of showings have slowed down. Yeah, it's kind of becoming stagnant, right?
Yeah.
Kind of boring.
Yeah.
I think investor confidence has declined a little bit because they're seeing the same thing. They maybe bought inventory in March that's not moving right now. We have some inventory that's not selling right now, so that sucks. I think short term is going to be kind of stagnant and see what happens. The economy seems shaky. People seem loaded up with credit card debt. A lot of our calls over the last couple months have been kind of that, singing that song like, hey, I've got a lot of credit card debt and I need to sell my house, and
Low on money.
Yeah, low on cash.
Everything's
And we've even heard from some of the networks that we buy through that it's not just real estate. They've been hearing from their clients in car dealerships, furniture stores, cookie companies that are selling. Just everybody's lead flow is down. So I'm wondering if people are tightening up on spending.
And just in general?
Yeah, and even if you look in the MLS right now, like some of the larger teams in Arizona, we did a comparison of new listings to the market in April versus May, and most of the large teams are down 30 to 50%. So, I mean, new inventory is slowing. It's still kind of building up just because buyer demand is so weak.
Yeah, super, super weak. But, I mean, we do have more active listing count than there was last month, right?
Yeah. It was up like 5% from last month. It's up 54% from last year, I think I saw.
Yeah.
We were at like 11,000, and now it's 17 and change right around there.
Yeah, which is pretty wild.
Yeah.
So how do you combat that? Like, obviously, you got to still transact business. You got to still be in the game. What do you do about it?
I mean, it sounds cliche and everybody says it, but all the money's made on the buy.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So with us, we're just being more cautious about what we're buying. No enclosures, no weird conversions, no unpermitted additions. Trying to keep it standard. 3 2s, 2-car garages. We're trying to be in the lower price point, like sub 450, just because the stuff above that sucks right now with interest rates where they are. Just buying smarter.
A few months ago, sellers, it was tough to get them to believe me when I would tell them, oh, yeah, the market's slowing down and things aren't selling as fast as they would. Now, I mean, I feel like the public's caught on and they kind of know that, like, oh, stuff really isn't selling as fast as it is. They see so many more people trying to sell their house that's not selling. So they become a little bit more back to reality,
realistic,
which is kind of nice. Yeah.
I mean, we've had leads that called 4 months ago and we offered them $270 and they laugh at us.
Yeah.
And then they call back now and we look and they've been listed for 80 days and they started at $350 and then they dropped to $330 and now they're at $315 and they're like, hey, we'll take your $270 offer. We're like, well, now it's $240.
Yeah, that's right. Now
just because you just showed me that it's not selling at MLS at these 3 prices, so we can't help you out there.
Right. Are you seeing that happen a lot? Are you going through your database or finding
I'd say we're seeing a lot of MLS calls, not necessarily that they called us and they're calling back. We get some of those, but we get a lot of listed properties
that are just not selling.
Yeah.
It's like the middle of the road houses are just not selling. Like it's just there's so many better options. And what I tell people is if I'm buying a house and I'm getting financing for this property, well, I'm going to get the most out of my financing that I can to buy this house. I want my house to be completely done because I don't have any more money for updates.
Right. That's, So, I mean, where do you think that goes? How do you think the rest of this year is going to turn out then? I mean, do you think it's going to
it's going to be a low transaction count year.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, 2 years ago, we were at 111,000 closings a year. We're on pace this year for like 70.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a lot of lenders not getting paid, a lot of real estate agents not getting paid, a lot of investors not doing deals. So I think we're going to see a big weeding out of competition, which is good. And I think it's just going to be a slow, stagnant year.
Pretty boring, like you said.
Very
it's pretty boring.
Yeah.
It will create some hunger, though. Like us, it makes us hungry because, there's still those people that are selling, but, like, there are other people that might not be in the game anymore where it's like, well, I'll take them.
We get a fair amount of sellers that will, we offered, again, $260 as a number, right? And they'll call and say, hey, we sold for $280. And then they call us back 2 weeks later and they're like, yeah, that buyer didn't perform. And so we get a lot of calls like that because we do, we'll do non-refundable earnest money, and we have a high close rate. I mean, if we contract 35 houses in a month, we're closing on 34. And usually the one that we don't close on, it's like a seller that doesn't want to sell or something. But we
solar, they don't want to pay off the solar,
or like
or something.
The solar payoff came back too high and they can't afford to pay it off. Stuff like that.
Yeah, so I mean that's good. That ultimately gives you better credibility as the as the market goes on.
And we get a lot of referrals. Like I don't think that's overly common in the investment space as like a real estate investor. We get referrals every week. Hey, you bought my uncle's house, or hey, we had one today. The guy reached out and he was, I can't remember exactly.
House in Washington.
Yeah, he goes, you bought my rental property in Arizona. Will you buy a house in Washington? So yeah, it's interesting. We get leads. I don't know, 12 to 15 states.
So are you in 12 to 15 states? I mean, you said that you're pretty much
people see our Instagram. People see our social media. I mean, there's YouTube TV. I mean, during the Super Bowl ads, I had a friend that was in Texas, and he called me, how the hell did I just see you on my TV? I'm in Texas. And, like, we didn't know, but I don't know. It gets out there.
Yeah.
I mean, people have, their mom's Netflix account or Hulu or whatever.
So what do you do with that scenario? If you're not buying in these areas, like, what do you do?
I mean, if it makes sense, we'll try to find an investor over there and just feed them the deal.
Yeah. Does that happen often?
Not as much as it should.
Yeah.
But
because it's tougher.
Yeah, of course it's tough.
And when
Different
you're going there
markets,
tougher, and
different
it's a lot
laws.
of trust, and it's like, okay, we're putting our reputation on somebody that we don't know.
Yeah.
Well, if I'm telling you I'm going to close and this guy doesn't close, he doesn't know me.
Yeah.
He's not going to care, but that person's really going to be mad at me.
Right.
So it's I don't know. It's kind of a risk-reward situation.
I like it. All right, let's change gears. Let's talk about your health. We kind of talked about it a little bit. Yep. Shift out. Yep. What do you do for your health? So you're in the gym. Kyle and I work out every day at 45. I'm gonna call him out a little bit at 45 for the win.
It works better for you than it does for me.
You're jacked.
I know. He takes steroids for sure.
Dude, this is called steroids and hard work. That's all it is. A lot of years of doing it. That's for sure.
A lot of canned chicken.
A lot of canned chicken.
Nice.
Yeah. A lot of canned chicken.
No Fruity Pebbles late night or Jell-O.
Did you have Pop-Tarts last night?
No Pop-Tarts.
Raise your hand if you had Pop-Tarts last night.
2 of them.
Hold on, what were they? The brown sugar ones or the strawberry ones?
I went. My kids like the cookies and cream ones, dude. Honestly.
Oh, that's.
Hey, raise your hand if you had Oreos too last night.
We're talking about health. I'm trying to get better, but sometimes there's a little lapse in my diet.
Raise your hand if you had Jell-O last night.
Again, I'm sorry. We don't need to tell them what else I
Any
eat.
cereal?
In the cereal?
Any cereal.
He
eats cereal every night.
Hey, that's all right. Cereal's delicious. I get it.
It's so good.
Lots of things are delicious.
Well, what else are you doing? You said you go
I
to
swim.
cold plunge.
I like to swim.
I
like cold plunge. We do the sauna.
How long do you go on the cold plunge for?
I kind of am a sissy, but I don't go all the way in
like
deep.
that.
I go in to like my nipples.
Okay. You're not dunking the head?
I will go in all the way to my shoulders for like my second set for like a 2-minute thing.
Okay.
But I like to be in there like 5 minutes.
So honestly. You go like hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold?
Because they have the hot tubs, so then you come in, finish on the cold.
Yeah.
And then now it's just so nice. You finish cold and you go out in the heat. You're just like, I'm cold for a little bit.
Right.
It's just nice because you get the energy when you're done with work. And it's like, what excuse do I have? I got a chance to relax. I'm going to go home and just thrive for these next 2-3 hours with the family and
That's right.
get yelled at by the wife to cook some dinner and stuff. And
Wait, are you cooking dinner? So
most of the time, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's his very
he does
way.
too. We both like to cook, honestly. He's a really, really, really like exquisite, fine palate cook. I think I'm a good bulk, like party style cook. I can make a lot of stuff pretty easily.
It's pretty funny. So, like, the roles are totally reversed. My wife loves to plan, loves to cook, loves to organize our trips, and I don't do any of that.
Yeah.
That's how I am.
Yeah, you like to cook, organize the trips.
Yeah.
It's so interesting how people can be so different, right?
Yeah.
And it's just whatever works,
Mm-hmm.
right? So not only are you generating the business and running the business. So you're also going home to cook dinner. You're also going home to plan the trip and all that stuff.
It's just fun.
What's the best trip you've been on recently?
I just went to South Carolina, Lake Keohane in South Carolina. My brother owns
on this, dude.
lake house. It's honestly so great. I almost feel like you texted him to ask me about this. It was epic. It was just me and my son. We went out there, waterfall climbing, jet skiing, cliff jumping.
Sounds like a great
golfing, drink. It was awesome. On Memorial Day too. So bears were outside of our window, like at our house, and I'll end it there. It was an epic trip. It was just fun to see my son grow. I mean, he's 8 years old. It's fun because Kingston's been alive the whole time that I've been with Kyle, so he's kind of seen him grow too. And like my son's kind of the not as brave or whatnot, but like seeing him thrive without mom being there telling him that things are scary. He was just jumping off everything.
I was gonna say, man, if he's jumping off cliffs and he's got hanging out in the cabin with bears just hanging out outside, I mean, I don't know if I would do that.
No, it was tough.
That
it was fun.
What about London? You went to London.
I went to London. That was really fun. That was in January. But he said recently, that was
4 months.
It was. I mean, it was nice to be away from the office, not really have anything on my plate. I was gone for maybe 8 to 10 days or something like that. And I've never been out of the country, so that was my first time being out of the country.
What did you think about London? Like, did you like? I know you like London.
Mm-hmm. I would love to go back again. I think it was right up my alley, dude. You have casinos. You have lots of fun stuff to do right around.
There were casinos in London?
What do you mean?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, see, it's just different. What you're looking for,
Did you know there were casinos in London?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I mean,
you're playing with me.
I swear to God, I didn't.
They have a casino like every 500 feet, and you go in there, and they're like the little, like a private casino.
Where?
Dude, by every road that you're on, like. I'm not playing.
You land and it's just
I never
casino.
saw.
I went from.
But he's a big
Buckingham
casino
Palace,
guy. He
casino
goes.
right
He's a big casino guy.
I hopped. Yeah, it was really fun. I loved London for the food and stuff, so it was a good time. You just went to London.
Mm-hmm.
So is that going to be your top? Are you London? Is that your spot?
No. I mean, last year we did Italy and France. That was really cool. We're planning a Switzerland trip right now. Yeah, Italy was awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. We're going there tomorrow, which is great.
You really are?
I really am.
That's cool.
Just for the day, or
just for the day. I'm gonna fly in, fly out later that night.
Cool.
That's all it is. We're there for 12 days, so it's gonna be a blast. But I always like to understand like people's work-life balance when it comes to that. I value travel and time with family and travel, just seeing the world because it's gigantic. Once you get out there and see it, it's like wow, there's a lot to see. So I didn't know if you kind of did the same exact thing.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of traveling this year.
He's a very big planning traveler. I'm a very big last minute traveler. I like to can I make this shake for 3 days? Like we got a lot of deals. It's a good time. Like
on a Wednesday, he'll be like, "Hey, tomorrow, let's go," and I'm like, "I'm out." No.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Frontier Airline has a sale on tickets.
No, I mean it's funny, but like it really is how it is, and so like it's spur of the moment, but it always makes for fun.
Yeah, man, I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could just seat in my pants, just up and go across the country.
The South Carolina trip, I didn't know I was going until Wednesday night, and I left on Thursday. Right?
He canceled his airline tickets on accident.
Oh, that was a nightmare.
What do you mean on accident?
Because they said my flight was going to be delayed. I'm like, oh, forget it. I'm going to switch my flights. And then they gave me the options, and then one was at 2:10, and which would have been perfect because that was like an hour earlier. But then I was for 2:10 the next day.
And then he's like, all right, perfect. So when he calls him to book it, it was the next day.
And then I'm like, can I go back?
Goes, can I undo my cancellation? Nope, they already got sold.
That was a big hiatus, but
what did we learn from that?
Don't fly JetBlue.
No, honestly, it's just like my text messaging. He read what I'm doing before I actually press the submit button. He gets mad at my text messages because it will have so many, grammatically incorrect errors. Hey, good. And then he'll just make fun of it, and he doesn't care anything about the message, and he'll say, what is the, or what is whatever it is that we're talking about?
He's a bad speller.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, you got an iPhone. That stuff will fix it for you.
His phone doesn't. I think it's so bad that it doesn't even know what he's trying to say.
It's confused.
Yeah.
It's like Siri doesn't know.
Yeah. I'm one of those guys, if you give me a laptop, the antivirus companies are going to hire me to figure out a way to make your computer stop.
You can be the test subject.
Yeah.
So, I guess, as we kind of wrap up here, what do you want to leave the listeners with? What's something that they can, if you were to give one piece of advice to them with what's going on in the world right now, what would that be?
Any drug that grows from the earth is probably safe. What else? I don't know. What's some good advice?
I don't know. I'm a big law of attraction guy. I'm good at, believing things are going to happen, but not, and willing to do the work.
Have you ever read The Secret?
Yeah, that's the book that I'm referencing. That's kind of how I live my life. I mean, good energy. I mean, the way you treat people. I mean, again, I've always thought that I was going to be in real estate, but I didn't know it was because I met Kyle. But it is not what you know sometimes. It's who you know. And don't be afraid to talk to people and communicate and go out on a limb if you see somebody. I don't know. I like to talk to a lot of people, and you can get a lot of information from randoms. And
do hungry mouths get fed?
Hungry mouths do get fed, yes.
Dude, I feel like in today's
world... And hungry
world,
dogs do run faster.
Hungry dogs do run faster.
Yeah.
These are both very true.
Yep.
But I feel like in today's world, like, people are afraid to talk. They don't want to have these conversations. They don't want to sit in front of somebody and actually, like, conversate, right?
Right.
They're
Yeah, I mean, he gets rejected on appointments
a lot.
400 times a year, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, at least.
At least.
Yeah.
And
but on the ones that say yes,
300-400 people that they do say yes, and so like it's a good win. But I'm not afraid of rejection. I never was. I mean, I'm not very attractive, so I got rejected a lot. I just got lucky with my wife. She saw something in me. This bald guy got the little dance move.
Shiny.
Nobody would have ever done that if you would have just left the hat on.
Yeah, I mean, we get so many people talking shit on the commercial. I'll never do business with somebody who wears a hat and can show up to my house in a hat. And so it's like, yeah, it's the way it is.
We had a personal trainer call in one time. He's like, hey, man, no disrespect, but I'll train you for free. We got to get rid of that gut. That was a couple years ago.
That was true.
He gets letters from inmates.
Yeah, inmates saying like that they want to be my pen pal and can I send them anything
we invest
on
in
their
their business when they get out.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What is kind of, this is great then, so that leads me to a different direction. Like, what is one of the weirdest, I guess, connections you've had, or like experiences because of you being Andrew the Homebuyer with your face everywhere?
I mean, everyone's usually pretty cool because then I'm kind of humble when I react. Like, I don't like thinking that, he's a celebrity. That's so dumb. But like what he does, it just pisses me off the absolute most. Is we'll go somewhere that's like an Ocean 44, or like a nice classy place, and this 25-year-old person, and he'll ask him, excuse me, miss, do you happen to own a television set? Like, really awkward question. So he's like setting up to be awkward. Have you ever happened to see this guy on the television set? Is he a celebrity? Do you know who he is? And then it's like, dude, why are you doing this? They think that like
you're that guy.
And no, it just makes me feel really awkward. But that's just me. I'm being his little puppet. So.
He also did once call Ocean 44 for a reservation, and he said, well, just so you know, this is Andrew the Homebuyer. And she was like, I don't know what that means. They didn't give him the reservation.
I didn't do that on my own. They told me to say that. And they recorded me saying it just so they could laugh at me later.
Best part is you did it.
Yeah, I mean,
you just followed through. You just did your thing.
I mean, I'm in the grocery store all the time, and I mean, it's fun to just kind of shoot the shit. And people ask me questions.
He gets stopped at gas stations, the gym.
They'll ask me, market analysis questions or anything like that.
What's going on in the market?
I'm texting Kyle, hey, dude, 911.
What's going on?
I got somebody asking me about, this. Can you give me a good thing to respond?
Tell me what to say.
Yeah.
That's a good piece of advice. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Invest This Podcast. I know you got at least one thing from this episode, so drop us a like and click the subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. If you have any questions, thoughts, or suggestions for future episodes, make sure to leave us a comment below. I love hearing from you.